All right, so we got NFL legend explains why Jalen Hurts is a monster. As you guys, if you guys don't know, I'm an Eagles fan. I love Jalen Hurts. I don't understand the hate he gets. So let's see.
When you see the times that he's played Patrick Mahomes, he's outplayed him every single time.
My takeaway on Jalen.
Now, I'm not one of these delusional Eagles fans. Like, I know Patrick Mahomes is better than Jalen Hurts, but he does perform well in the big games. And seeing that people put like Baker Mayfield and Justin Herbert over him, that shit pisses me off. Now, if you want to put Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all of them in front of him, I don't care. But the other ones, like, no, bro.
Hurts is, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
Man, so if we look at the Eagles, is it Hurts or the team?
Was benched in the national championship game. Benched by the greatest college football coach of all time. Didn't break him. Didn't break him. Had to go back in the year later. Transfers. And listen, I owe publicly Jalen Hurts an apology.
Nah, I'm not going to lie. He apologized, but he still be hating. What's the other one? Chase Daniel. Biggest hater I've ever seen. Nick Wrong. His name Nick Wright, but he's Nick Wrong. Bro spews nonsense. Chiefs fan, by the way. Man, like, bro, some of these people, there's a lot more, too. Like, this shit is crazy.
From the SEC to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts has silenced every critic who has ever doubted him. Benched in college, drafted as a backup, and branded as a system quarterback, and yet time after time he's answered with wins, grit, and jaw-dropping plays under pressure.
Hurts in the gun, trailed by Barkley. They're going to run some block. He is going deep. Or maybe it's throw the dagger. Hurts going deep for it all.
Bless me.
Smith.
Greatest day of my life right there. Super Bowl 59.
46 yards. The Slim Reaper.
And that's the thing. Don't take just my word for it. Take it from NFL legends who actually lined up against him. Because in today's video, this is exactly what NFL greats had to say the first time they faced Jalen Hurts.
That's another thing. I know he's going to get into it, bro. This man has the respect. Mahomes respects him. Tom Brady respects him. Like, all the greats. Peyton Manning respects him. Like, bro, I don't understand why these, what's the right word? The people on ESPN and shit, like, just hate on, bro, when he's getting the respect of the greatest of all time.
Now, when the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round of the 2020 draft, NFL analysts didn't know exactly what to think. My Brain Hurts is what one article from The Athletic was headlined, going on to query why the Eagles weren't doing everything in their power to help the 27-year-old franchise quarterback Carson Wentz, who they just had paid. And it's fair to say, too, that when the Eagles did draft Hurts, not many fans were happy with this decision.
I was one of them.
Jalen Hurts, dude. Jalen Hurts, Howie.
Now, I didn't think Jalen Hurts was a bad quarterback. I knew he was good. But at the time, like, I was all in on Carson Wentz. I believed in him. But clearly the front office saw something behind the scenes that we couldn't. That's why, like, all respect goes out to Howie Roseman. This man is the greatest GM of all time.
Are you serious?
They got EDP in this bitch. Hey, fuck EDP. We skipping this.
Vindicted for his selection, with Hurts being plugged into the lineup for the last few games of his rookie season, replacing a rapidly declining Carson Wentz. And that's the crazy part too, because by the following season, Jalen Hurts was named the starter, and so many NFL legends were already talking about him.
Absolutely. I had a lot of respect for him going into it. You know, he had a heck of a game last week. Continues to get better and better, and you know, more of the same this game. He had that drive at the end there where he was using his legs to make stuff happen. He made some good throws. I know he's gonna be a really good quarterback.
Hey, shout out Fred Warner,
it's
man.
no surprise that Fred Warner highlighted the threat that Jalen Hurts brings as a runner. The quarterback is a physical freak who is going viral for his strong ability at college, and you bet his NFL employers were keen to make the most of it. As he did ease into the role as a starting quarterback, Philly began experimenting with the quarterback sneak, looking for ways to give themselves a leg up on their opponents by making the most of their quarterback's physicality and strength. As a result, the brotherly shove was born, and one player who got a taste of it during the regular season in 2021 was Tom Brady. And it's fair to say, too, that the future Hall of Famer and undeniable GOAT of the sport was intrigued while also impressed by its main benefactor, Jalen Hurts.
It's a great tool to have, and I like the way they're doing it. They're kind of making it like a rugby scrum a little bit, and putting a lot of bodies in there, which is kind of a new take on it. Be interesting to see how defenses start to defend that. But he's doing a great job. I mean, he's a great young player. He's throwing the ball well, running it well, sneaking it well. They're scoring touchdowns. They got a great team.
So now with the help of a newly rebranded tush push and the arrival of superstar wide receiver A.J. Brown in a brilliant draft day trade by Howie Roseman, Jalen Hurts broke out in style in 2022. So much so that he received a heavy dose of MVP buzz for his efforts in leading the Eagles on a playoff
won
run.
that shit. Bro, if he never got hurt that season, bro, at the end, the narrative around Jalen Hurts would be so different. He would have an MVP under his belt. He would have a lot more respect, bro. This shit is crazy. Like, him getting hurt for those, like, the 3 games at the end of that 22 season, like, how different that's changed his career, just off how people talk about him, even though he's still performing at a great level.
He did 66.5% of his passes for 3,701 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions through the air, while also collecting 760 yards and 13 touchdowns on the ground.
Legend.
Carolina Panthers defensive tackle Derek Brown had seen this quality up close and personal when trying to slow Hurts down in 2021. He had seen his development in 2022. He was ready to crown him as his top-ranked player in the NFL.
Who's the number 1 guy?
I'm gonna say Jalen Hurts. Make big plays with the feet or big plays with his arm. Take one away and he might kill you with the other.
It was a quality breakout effort for Hurts, who helped the Eagles improve from 9 wins to 14 wins and a division title. It completely changed the perception of him as a quarterback as well. And one person who was very impressed with his journey is legendary quarterback
Really?
Drew
I didn't even
Brees,
notice.
who had this to say about Hurts on the Up and Adams show.
I love his journey. Like, I think he's an incredible representation of, like, grit, determination, perseverance. Like, let's just, like, go back to his college days. People forget that at one point, Tua Tagovailoa, kind of beat him out and took the job, and he backed him up for a year, and then came in and played great, then transferred to OU, had an incredible senior season, then gets drafted in the 2nd round, and it's like, what type of, quarterback is Jalen Hurts going to be in the NFL? Because he's kind of this hybrid. I think what he's shown is, man, he can beat you with his legs. He can beat you in the pocket. Obviously, they've got some incredible weapons around him, but I love his demeanor. I love his poise. There's a confidence, like you feel it when you just kind of watch the guy speak, and certainly the way he plays. Man, you can tell that he's the calm hand that steers the ship.
And I think that's so cool too, because Drew Brees knows what it takes to become an elite quarterback in the NFL. And on top of that, he faced adversity at the beginning of his career as well. Like, it just felt in that interview too that Drew Brees really kind of had admiration, or felt the admiration for Jalen Hurts, and kind of understood what he was going through and just how he handled his own personal journey to getting to the NFL, as how Drew Brees handled his, very similarly, with not many people giving him a chance once he was injured, and not many people giving Jalen Hurts a chance when he was drafted by the Eagles. But that's the thing, you only need a few things from your quarterback at the end of the day. You need a steady hand and a leader who can shoulder the load for his team when he gets his number called upon. And yes, while Brees was impressed by Hurts' progression, there were plenty of other people who wanted to throw cold water on his MVP buzz. One of those people, perhaps unsurprisingly, was division rival Micah.
Anything Micah Parsons says about the Eagles, take it with a grain of salt. This man's an Eagles fan. He wants to be on the Eagles, so he's really just salty. He's like that petty ex, even though he's never been there yet. He's like that petty ex, or your crush at school got a man, so you just start hating on, bro. Like, he's one of those. He gonna be a Eagle in the future. Just wait.
Parsons, who went on Von Miller's podcast to discuss this MVP buzz.
Right now it's down to 2. It's down to 2.
Mahomes and Allen?
Josh coming back, but it's down to 2.
Who else would you put?
I'll probably put Hurts and Mahomes right now. End of the season.
He's trying to rage bit.
It's hard for me to really speak on this.
Josh right there. Josh is probably right there in the
in a
bubble.
couple weeks. I don't want him to make me pay.
I mean, it's clear Parsons had something on his mind that he was reluctant to reveal just a couple of weeks before facing off against the Eagles. But of course, he let it out just a few moments later.
Man, so if we look at the Eagles, is it Hurts or the team?
I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think
it's system and team.
I think it's a little bit of both, man, because they got a great offensive line, which helps Hurts. Hurts has A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. They got a good running game.
I mean, Miles Sanders.
They scheme that they have.
O-line. I mean, bro, like.
On this podcast appearance as well, Parsons is making the case that many fans were arguing about all year long and tend to argue about with other quarterbacks every single season. Is it the quarterback or is it the system? For Micah, it was Philly's system that was propping up Hurts, not the other way around. But that's the thing too, he certainly wasn't alone in that opinion, but that doesn't mean Hurts didn't have some people fighting in his corner as well.
I like the fact that he shares his opinion, but he's wrong. I disagree with him. They built a great team around Jalen Hurts. The system's definitely really solid, but all I care about is, does he make the tight window throws? Does he hit people on the numbers? Does he hit people outside the numbers and deep? He's done all those things this year, and his game's improved greatly. He showed signs of all this. He's always...
Hey, shout out Chris Long, man. This man is a legend, bro. He's actually like one of my favorite players that played for the Eagles.
He's been a pretty solid deep ball thrower, but if you look at the throws he makes outside the numbers, he's one of the best throwers. He has been one of the best throwers this year. Throwers of the football, period. And a layer to this is, like, of all teams to be taking shots at Jalen Hurts, your quarterback's Dak Prescott. Jalen's better.
While the arguments off the field and online raged on, Jalen Hurts did what he did best, empowered the Eagles to a Super Bowl appearance where he would face off against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Unfortunately, that first trip to the Super Bowl didn't end in glory for Hurts and the Eagles, although the Philly quarterback certainly impressed on the biggest of stages. His 71% completion rate for 304 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions, combined with 70 yards and 3 scores on the ground to produce a truly epic Super Bowl performance by Jalen Hurts. Unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes was pretty damn good on that day as well, helping the Chiefs edge out the 38-35 victory. Legendary Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones was one of the...
Bro, even thinking about this Super Bowl, bro, this shit hurts because, bro, like... I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs at the end where they called that holding, which I don't think it was, but that's not really the main problem. Bro, this man, Jonathan Gannon, the DC at that time, like, bro, he sold the shit out of the Eagles, bro. And, like, the defense kind of sold, but, bro, I blame it more on, like, Jonathan Gannon, bro. He really sold that Super Bowl, and he didn't even care. He just went off to Arizona like nothing happened.
And tasked with stopping Jalen on that day, and it's fair to say that he was impressed with the young quarterback.
He had the best performance in the Super Bowl that I've ever seen of a quarterback. Running the ball, throwing the ball, he balled out.
Hell, Mahomes himself also had plenty of praise to send in the direction of his defeated opponent.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now. I mean, the way he stepped up on this stage and ran through the ball, whatever it took for his team to win, I mean, that was a special performance that I don't want it to get lost in the loss that they had. I mean, even whenever we got all the momentum in that game and we went up 8 points in the fourth quarter, for him to respond and move his team right down the football field and run it in himself for the 2-point conversion, it was a special performance by him, man. And I mean, you make sure you appreciate that when you look back on this game.
And at the beginning of the 2023 season, it all seemed like all that performance in the 2022 season was carrying over, at least to start the season. The Eagles endured a messy collapse though at the end of the year, but before that, it looked like they were heading straight back to the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts was a big reason why. In a tense 37-34 overtime win against the Buffalo Bills, Hurts had 3 passing touchdowns and 2 more on the ground, one of which was the overtime game winner. It was an impressive showing to close out the game against an AFC powerhouse, and Philly legend Jason Kelce was quick to praise his quarterback's clutch ability after that game.
There aren't too many guys that I've played with, probably nobody I've played with, that's been more clutch down the stretch. If you look at, since he's, especially last year, 2-minute situations, game on the line, the Super Bowl goes down to touchdown right down the stretch. I mean, he's been so good in crucial situations when things have to happen. And that's a trait not to take lightly. I think that if you look at most of the best players, that is a trait that they have to have. And it's a big reason why we've won the last 3 weeks is his ability to really get it done down the stretch when it matters most.
Unfortunately, the team did collapse after that dramatic win, losing 6 of their last 7 games, including a dismal wildcard round exit against Tampa Bay, in which the offense just scored 9 points. After that postseason performance too, it was a horrible period for the Eagles in which Nick Sirianni was stuck on the hot seat, and critics of Jalen Hurts took victory laps, seemingly convinced that his 2022 season was a mirage and that he still was a long way off being a top quarterback. That's the thing though, on the other hand, Howie Roseman disagreed. He kept Nick Sirianni at his post, leading the team, and not only that, but then loaded up the offense with so much talent that they were bound to go on an epic run. And as we all know, it was a pretty insane run last year.
Yes,
with
sir.
Saquon Barkley notching 2,000 yards in his first season as an Eagle, Philadelphia stormed to another 14-3 record in the NFC Championship game. Much of the talk all season was once again surrounding Jalen Hurts' role in the offense, but 262 total yards and 4 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game reminded everyone how good this guy was when the pressure was on. Then, to really ram home the point, Hurts was epic in Super Bowl 59, this time downing Mahomes' Chiefs with a sumptuous performance, completing 77% of his passes for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, to go along with 72 yards and 1 score on the ground. And
bro, that shit was the greatest game I've ever watched in my life. Obviously, from a non-Eagles fan, that could be seen as a lame Super Bowl because it was literally a straight belt to ass the whole game. But as an Eagles fan, seeing that shit, just being able to be comfortable by halftime, because they were up, what was it, 27-0 at halftime or 24-0, something like that. Just being comfortable in knowing, bro, this shit was the greatest day of my life, I swear.
following that performance in the Super Bowl II, there was little doubt of how good Jalen Hurts was as a quarterback in the NFL. And not only that too, he was worthy of all the praise in the world. And that's the best part too, because he certainly got some from legendary Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who said this a few months after the game.
We just felt like going into the game that we had to somehow not allow them to be two-dimensional.
Yep.
Because I've been there, you can't defend them because they get the run going and then he's throwing the ball and he gets out of the pocket. I did think we did a fairly good job of that. Anthony and I were talking about it earlier, but to the credit to the quarterback, the rest of those guys that were playing on offense, they made some key throws, and I thought Jalen did a great job really in critical situations of beating us or getting first downs with his feet. I thought that was really, really challenging, and that's what happens in this league nowadays with these athletic quarterbacks. I mean, you can take away runs, you can cover really well, have them all covered, and when they say, hey, I'm going to get the first down with my feet, and they're able to do it because your lanes are out of whack or something happens, then it becomes challenging, and I give them a lot of credit for what they did.
And that's the thing too. I think if Steve Spagnuolo is saying that after watching Jalen Hurts destroy his own defense, then I think we can all be pretty confident in saying that Jalen Hurts is a certified, legitimate man, just a beast in the NFL. And one guy who certainly agrees is his legendary teammate Brandon Graham, who had this to say on the Up and Adams show.
He's my top 5. And, if I had to go, he's my number 1 because of, him playing. I know I ain't playing for them other quarterbacks. All I know is him, and we won the championship. And I'm going to go just straight there. For this year, he got to be number 1. You know what I'm saying? He won against the GOAT. It wasn't like he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I feel like a lot of people, everybody got their opinions, but I feel like for us, as a group, he was the one that led us to that promised land. So he gotta be number 1 for this year.
But that still begs the question: do you agree with what Brandon Graham said?
Hey, I do agree with what Brandon Graham said. Hey, shout out K Rich Productions with this banger video. Hey, y'all don't have to put Jalen Hurts number 1, but that man's got to be in your top 5. This man is nice.